All right, guys, we are going to continue our reading of Megabat. So here we go. We're going to finish the last chapter in Megabat, and then we will start the next book in Megabat. This chapter is called A Nest for Two. Late summer turned to fall. Megabat's wingtip healed, leaving a silvery scar. One day, he found he could glide from the rafter to the shed floor. He worked up to crossing the yard, then circled the block with Bird Girl at his side. He landed with shaking wings and bowed. Talia and Daniel applauded. When the weather got colder, Daniel asked Megabat if he'd like to come back to live in the attic. But Megabat hunched his wings in embarrassment. "Bird Girl," he said, "is keeping Megabat warm at night." Daniel didn't ask any more questions about that. Daniel was sure Megabat still missed his bat brothers and sisters, just like Daniel missed his friends in Toronto. But they didn't talk about it as often, and neither of them dripped too much. Daniel even made a few new friends at school. Really, life was good, except for one minor detail. It was a few weeks before Christmas, and the friends were hanging colored lights in the shed when the door burst open. "I wondered what you guys were doing back here." There stood Jamie, wearing a fur-lined hat in his usual sneer. Remember, a sneer is not a very nice look. "It's the bat, isn't it? He's back. Talia, if you don't agree to be my servant for life, I'm telling Mom." "You leave Megabat and Talia alone." Daniel put his hands on his hips. "Or else what?" Jamie challenged. Suddenly, Daniel had an idea. With a subtle flick of his wrist, he motioned to Bird Girl. She landed on his shoulder. He whispered in her ear, and she took off out the door into the wintry air. "Okay, Jamie," Talia said, "just go home." "Fine," he said. "I will. But only to get Dad's cell phone so I can record the talking bat and show it to Mom." As soon as he left, Talia sat down in the wheelbarrow. "Great. What are we going to do now?" "Just wait for it," said Daniel. "Wait for what?" Talia asked. A minute later, they heard a commotion outside the shed. It sounded like a helicopter landing. Daniel threw open the door to reveal Jamie running back towards him with a cell phone already recording. In fact, he was so busy looking at the screen, he didn't notice the huge flock of pigeons at first. So let's remember, Bird Girl was a pigeon. How do you think those pigeons showed up? "Shoo!" Jamie said, waving his arms as first one crossed his path. "Get lost," he said, when a second one swooped past his ear. "Coo-hoo!" cried Bird Girl. That was when the pooping began. And not just regular pooping, massive pooping. Every pigeon in the air, and there were almost 100 let loose at the same time. "No!" Jamie tried to cover his head. "Gross! Make them stop!" "They'll stop if you leave Megabat alone," Daniel shouted. "For good. And no more making Talia be your servant, or else they'll get you every time you go outside." Okay, fine," Jamie said. "Coo-roo!" Bird Girl ordered. The pigeon dispersed into the air like confetti. "Clever, clever bird," Talia said, as Bird Girl came back to roost in the shed. "Yes," Daniel agreed, "the cleverest." Megabat flew up to perch beside her. He bowed down low. "Bird Girl." He looked up at her adoringly. "Mine hero, mine love, will yours be marrying Megabat?" "Coo!" She flapped her wings. Then the four friends watched as Jamie picked up his pigeon poop-covered hat and ran from the yard. "Coo!" Bird Girl said contentedly. "Yes," agreed Megabat. "A muchly happy ending." The end of this book. We will be reading the next book starting tomorrow, and that's Megabat and the Fancy Cat. But I want to give you some Megabat facts. Megabat from this story is based on a real kind of bat, a fruit bat that we learned a little about Megabat. These bats are tiny, 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 tiny. They're about as heavy as a mouse or a battery. So if you know how heavy that is, go get a AA battery and feel it. That's how tiny Megabat is. He's called Megabat, but he's really very small. They live in South and Southeast Asia and Indonesia, usually in rainforests, near vegetation and beaches. And although Megabat's based on a real bat, it's fiction. He's made up. Bats can't talk. Not even in the funny way that I make Megabat talk. But it is also worth mentioning that while this story sounds fun, bats do not make good pets. Bats are amazing creatures, and they're an important part of our ecosystem. Here in the United States, bats eat insects. They don't hurt people, so if you see one in the wild, it's okay to watch it. But don't try to touch it or trap it. It's fun to imagine having Megabat as a pet, but not actually having a Megabat as a pet. So, next time we get together, I will be reading Megabat and the Fancy Cat. Enjoy!